guys, welcome to Munich and welcome to the Sugar Mountain, right?
Yes.
And I'm here with Oliver Heilmer, the head of design at MINI, and I'm here today because he has a couple of special cars to introduce. So without any further ado, I'm going to let you just explain to me what we have here.
Sure, absolutely. So, Horatio, you see two new cars, right? It's on the left-hand side, our brand new MINI Cooper Electric. On the right-hand side, our brand new MINI Countryman. Two really different characters. Coming back to the MINI Cooper, we look back into the past, into the beginning of MINI.
Yeah, let's take a closer look maybe, yeah.
What we found out is that the original was so simple, so simplistic, but had this kind of charismatic aura.
Sure.
And that's what we try to translate into the future. So what you see is a really clean front, a narrow frame. It's octagonal now. No additional frames anymore around the headlights, for instance, because we don't need them. And from a design perspective, we took a lot of attention to kind of the feeling in the surfaces, right? This kind of emotional surface with some really crisp lines in order to underline the quality, the modernity behind it.
Yeah.
In general, when you follow me towards the side, Horatio, you see as well there's no wheel arches anymore,
no more spats
anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The indicator is in the mirror now, and the door handles are flush.
Okay.
And this is from an aesthetic point of view, in order to kind of clean it really up, but as well in terms of aerodynamics.
Gotcha.
The rest is pretty in a classic. It's still a MINI. Contrast roof, greenhouse, and body.
So let me ask you this. So when you were given the task to redesign or to design a new MINI Cooper, what were some of the main requirements that were given to you? Do you have to maintain the brand's DNA? Do you need to chase maybe a different type of new customer? What were some of those requirements initially?
This is actually, and it's still an ongoing process. You're always in between understanding the heritage, respecting the heritage, but at the same time looking to the future. But looking back into the heritage, the first MINI was a disruption. It was absolutely something different. So it's in the DNA of MINI, which helps us to understand, okay, we need to proceed. We need to, yes, we want to address more customers. At the same time, we don't want to lose our customers that are driving MINIs today. So it's kind of trying to find the right balance between future and the heritage of the MINI brand.
Gotcha. Now, a follow-up question a little bit maybe. A lot of the car brands today, maybe even the BMW brand actually, they're going more towards simplicity, reducing packages, options, features, customization, where MINI feels like right now you're adding even more and more. Is that because your customer base requires that, or what's the reason? And what I'm thinking specifically is inside on the steering wheel, you see the strap that you can customize and a lot of other features. So what's the idea there, basically?
So, it's a beautiful observation, to be honest. I like it. Yes, the customers are different.
Yeah.
It's about colors. It's about differentiation. For customers, it's really important for MINI customers. What we achieved actually is we were focusing on, and we call them trims. So you will have different trims in the future, really specific, and that's what you immediately see at something entirely different. Then when you're coming around, you're seeing, for instance, we're working with this kind of knitted fabric on the dash and in the doors. Imagine that it's the color of a yarn that is so easy to change. So let's talking about, imagine that we will have a certain day an edition, like we do have today, a sidewalk or something. In this generation, the entire dashboard will change.
Okay.
So the impact into something different, something special, is much bigger than before.
Gotcha.
And the fact as well at the same time is that we reduced the amount of options, but for a customer it's more.
That's interesting, yeah, because it feels like there's a lot more to customize. And speaking of that, we can look at the Countryman,
sure,
because even the skull on the side, you can customize it, the roof as well. But before we talk about that, I feel like the Countryman, it's really the bread and butter of the brand right now. As much as people say that they love the MINI Cooper, I feel like they're buying the Countryman a lot more. Talk to me about this new design, because it's completely different, honestly, in many, many ways, and it's more of an SUV than ever before.
So, I think you pointed it out, right? So our and it's a part of the development of our customers. Imagine that you're starting as a single, which changed already, right?
Already, yeah. Fast.
Circumstances are changing. The Countryman, and especially the new Countryman, will be a proper family car.
Okay.
A one car in a household. It's big enough in terms of trunk space. It's even more elevated, right? So it's not an SUV yet, but it's a crossover.
It is
so
crossover.
you're sitting slightly higher. It's 6 centimeters higher, and 13 centimeters longer. And what's more important, it's about characters. Like the Cooper is a different character. The Countryman, we were using terms like solid, stable, mature.
Okay.
It has to have, from our perspective, a certain presence, a certain kind of self-confidence. You should feel like it's a powerful Mini. It's your family car, and that's what it showcases.
And do you feel like to me, the first time that I saw the car a few months ago, it felt like it's more British than ever before, like very upright, very rugged. Was that something also because customer demanded that, or you just wanted to kind of create this idea of a really brand new product, not an iteration of the previous one? Because to me, it feels more like a revolutionary product than an evolution. That's an evolution. This is more revolutionary in many ways, probably. Mm-hmm. Am I on the right path, or?
You're totally right. So even though we are sitting in Munich, we don't forget the history. Never. We won't never forget the history of the brand. And the history of the brand, the origins are in London.
Yeah.
In London. So we do have close relationships to agencies that are placed in London.
Okay.
There's and especially this project with a lot of share outs. We were doing projects together in order to get this kind of feeling. Yeah? Mm-hmm. And it was good. It was a good inspiration for us, and it gave us exactly that direction then, where we understood that Britishness is pretty much a lot about, calming down a little bit, let the surfaces flow, become more simple. That's what we felt, what they told us. Having like still soft surfaces, mm-hmm. bold but soft surfaces. I think that's really important. I totally agree with your observation. That's exactly what we wanted to achieve. And you see it not just in the front, but as well in the rear. Like the rear is like really simplified. And everything is complicated enough today. So we said, okay, come on. And here, part of the inspiration came from the first Countryman, the R60. Mm-hmm. Remember?
Yeah.
Number plates in the bumper area. Yeah. And we thought, okay, this was nice, kind of, just leaving surfaces as they are.
Yeah.
Something new, and maybe this is another point in terms of, because when you're thinking about British products, it's, let's say, the perception of value. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no step anymore between the trunk lid and the bumper face. It's flush integrated. Mm-hmm. So all those details are kind of added up, are giving you that impression what we wanted to achieve.
Gotcha.
So I'm glad to hear that.
And did you design this one in mind with electromobility, or it was really just a global product that's supposed to work on all platforms? Or when you start designing, were you thinking, okay, it's got to be an electric Mini first and then the rest?
So we've learned a lot with the first generation of the Cooper SE.
Okay.
Where our customers really appreciated that we didn't do an electric car, but we made a Mini.
Okay.
So it was then easy for us to say, okay, we are talking about Mini, regardless if it's a Cooper or a Countryman. First of all, there's the brand. And it proves somehow that for the customers, it's not important if it's a diesel or an electrified engine. It has to feel like a Mini. But what we take is, let's say, the opportunities out of an electrified platform. More space inside, different proportions. That's what we are taking. But we're doing the same exercise for the combustion engines.
Gotcha. And the interior, so let's focus on the last point, maybe on the inside. I know it's a combination of digital and analog in many, many ways. How difficult was that task to achieve? Because I'm assuming it's not easy to combine these two worlds, and I know a lot of people are trying in different industries to do that, and it's harder, said than done, basically.
It was hard, yes. Actually, but it was a kind of a good kind of co-creation we had with the engineers, where we showed them a picture of the original Mini. We said, look, this is something we would like to have back again, you know, and everything became more complicated. And then together with them, we worked through and looked into every detail. Can we place it into the digital world, or do we need to keep the physical switches?
Yeah.
And especially the toggle bar, this was an emotional project from us, because we still believe, as we are human beings, that you have to have something
To feel it.
and you turn the key, because that's the semantic that everyone has learned, not just from cars, but as well from doors.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So we said, okay.
Yeah.
I think the most difficult one was that we said something specific for Mini is the round display, and it has to remain round. And it's obviously not industrial standard. So this was.
I mean, it's pretty difficult to cut OLED glass that shape, because that's why the TVs are mostly made, you know, rectangular and all of that, and phones too.
Yeah.
So cutting around, it's not always easy. Final question now. So if you were to pick your favorite color on the Mini Cooper, the electric, and then the Mini Countryman, what color choices would you go for? So let's go with the Mini Cooper first.
If I answer that, my colleague from Color and Trim will be embarrassed, maybe. I don't know. So.
Because I saw a blue one and a yellow one outside.
Yellow one.
Which that one looks good.
Actually, it would depend on where I am living.
Okay.
So you're living in the US.
Yeah.
At the West Coast, I would go for the yellow because
okay.
the sun is different.
Sure.
I think here in Europe, kind of this fresh, crisp blue is kind of fantastic. And there will be a dark gray, which we call Legend Gray, which seems to be one of my favorites anyways.
And the Countryman?
And the Countryman, there is a certain reason behind it why this car is standing as it is here, right? So that's
Shows the
kind of
light.
my favorite combination of this matte roof, this vibrant silver roof, and our new smoky gray. So I would be like really happy taking this as my
your
favorite
daily
color.
driver? All right.
But I have seen other colors. It's
Yeah.
always like, you know, like
Your
a
favorite
box
child?
of candies. It's like, no, maybe I'm gonna
Skittles.
take this one.
Skittles. That's a
Skittles,
good one. You never know
exactly.
which one to
Yeah.
pick, you know? And I always end up picking the best one last. I don't know why. Because I want to savor that the most.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you so much for the overview of the cars. I'm excited to drive them next year. I want to see
Yeah.
they drive like a Mini, and that's the important part as well.
Absolutely.
And look forward to seeing the Aceman next year and see what you're
Yeah.
doing there with that. So once again, thank you for having us.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.